everyone, I'm Papa Kenn, and welcome to a brand new episode of Discovering Doctor Who, Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. These two episodes have finally proven to me that Russell T Davies can write some really good episodes for this show. Now, although the previous episode was okay, these two finally showed me that, you know what? With him being the head writer, it might not be such a bad thing. Now, I'm just going to chalk up the other episodes that he wrote before as sort of, I guess, him trying to figure out how he can write for the show. In my opinion, they didn't work out so well. For other people that may have been fans of the classic series, it may have worked better for them. But as a brand newcomer to the show, his previous episodes just didn't work. But thankfully, these two did, and it ended the season on a pretty high note, in my opinion. It was a well-written story, very nice conflict that I wasn't expecting, honestly, and overall, just like even the extra characters did a good job, which is, you know, one thing that can be kind of a negative sometimes. Oh my God! And Jackie, Rose's mom. This is the Parting of the Ways. It's the first episode that she's in where she didn't annoy me at all. Like, she was actually a legitimately good, solid character throughout. She had some of her Jackie moments, I guess, but they weren't annoying at all, and I really like that. I don't know like how much more often she's going to appear throughout the series, whether or not she'll go back to the annoying Jackie, but at least for this one episode, I was very happy to be able to just enjoy her as a character and not be like, ugh, every time she was on screen. But to get into the actual episodes, a quick little recap of the beginning. Jack, Rose, and the Doctor all have, they come down with a bit of amnesia when they're teleported to what we later find out is the satellite from the episode The Long Game. And they're on these TV shows. The Doctor shows up in a Big Brother-esque show. Rose appears on what is essentially The Weakest Link, with instead of being hosted by a human, it's hosted by a robot called the Android, because the host of The Weakest Link was named Anne. Yeah, it was funny. And Jack appears on, I don't know what episode it was supposed to be parodying, but what my best guess is something along the lines of What Not to Wear, or yeah, that's the name of the show. I think it was on TLC or whatever. But yeah, that's my best guess as to what he was appearing on. And he seems to be having quite a bit of fun, whereas Rose is in peril because every time someone is chosen as the weakest link, rather than just leaving, they get disintegrated. Dead, gone. And, you know, she's in some obvious peril there. And one guy, like, you know, on one hand you'd be thinking, well, Rose should just run. Well, if she runs, then the android disintegrates you too. So you either have to play and risk dying, or play and try to win. Because anything else you do, you're going to end up dead. And then the show the Doctor's on, rather than just leaving the house, as it happens in Big Brother, I guess. I've never actually watched the show, other than like little clips on the soup. When you get voted off, you also get disintegrated. Which, the Doctor, when that happens, the Doctor's just kind of like, and I don't know what his thought process was exactly, but he decides, I'm going to get out of here. And so he causes some destruction and sort of gets instantly banned from the house. And when that happens, he doesn't get disintegrated. Like, literally nothing happens. And it's like he knew nothing was going to happen, which was strange. I would have been a little bit scared, even the slightest bit unsure, but he's the Doctor. He's cool. And he finds his way out and takes one of the other contestants with him because she's very sweet. Linda with a Y. She's very sweet. And, you know, his reasoning for getting her off the show is, you're sweet. What do you think? Do you think people are going to vote for the sweet one? Which I would, but, you know, probably not. Most people wouldn't, especially if they're going to get disintegrated. That's morbid. Anyway, they end up escaping. Jack manages to get out, and the robots that were on the show with him, he breaks them apart and makes a gun out of them, interestingly enough. That was an entertaining little part. And long story short, they end up finding out where Rose is. And it's at this part that this was the first time in the episode where it's like, it was very interesting, very strange. But Rose ends up losing, and she's about to get disintegrated when the Doctor and Jack come in. And, I was expecting, okay, is the Doctor going to jump in front of her? Is he going to take his sonic screwdriver? No, she's gone. And that was a very, oh my God moment for me. I was just like, did they just kill off Rose? Really? Which it didn't make complete sense to me, because again, I've had a lot of stuff spoiled for me, and I've seen pictures of Rose with the 10th Doctor. I was just like, so if she's dead, do they go back in time? I was trying to figure out what was going on exactly, and what it ended up being, again, I didn't guess at all. We end up finding out that in fact, well, first of all, after this happens, the Doctor's pissed. You can tell he is so pissed off that he lost her. Oh, and Jack too. Like during that scene, you can hear Jack just screaming his head off. And it is, just such an emotional, powerful scene. And again, this is the first time that one of Russell T Davies' episodes has had an emotional, powerful scene. Thank you. And anyway, after that, we end up finding out that Rose has been... she didn't get disintegrated. In fact, no one was really disintegrated. It was a teleportation of sorts, and she ends up... Like, the first moment we see her, I'm just like, oh, well, she's alive? And then we see her through a blue visor, and I'm like, no! No! The Daleks! And again, I didn't expect that at all. I assumed that the Daleks might come back at some point, but this soon? Really? And that was just such a cool scene to see, like, her surrounded by these Daleks, and I'm just like, oh God, there's so many of these things. And the Doctor is able to identify where I think he was able to identify where the teleportation was taking them, and therefore where Rose actually is, and finds out, she's not really dead. Excuse me. But then they're able to see the ship that she's on, and then they zoom out, and they see all of these ships, like thousands and thousands of ships, all carrying Daleks. And it was at that moment for me, just, keeping in mind what the Doctor has said about Daleks and the destruction that one of them was able to cause in the show when it was the only Dalek left. And I was just like, oh my God, these things are going to slaughter everyone. And essentially they did. Like, there is very, very few people that came out of this 2-episode section alive. And I mean, the body count on this show just keeps going up and up, starting with the first episode and ending with the final. I was thinking, okay, maybe some people would make it out. No, pretty much everyone dies, which is a huge contrast to an episode, what was the episode, where they're in World War II, not The Empty Child, it's, The Doctor Dances. And that was actually a part of that episode I forgot to mention, but he goes, just this once, everybody lives. And that was a really cool moment that I don't know why I forgot to mention it, but I really like that part of the episode. But in contrast to that, this episode, pretty much everyone dies. We don't see a lot of the deaths. Like, most of the deaths we actually see are from the little laser beams from the Daleks, and there's no blood or anything, just like, you see the skeletons, and they fall over dead. Which, actually, to comment on that, in the episode Dalek, whenever that happened, when someone would get shot by the Dalek's laser, it looked kind of hokey to me. Like, it looked off. Like, I don't know if it was the animation of the skeletons they were being electrified or what, but in these episodes, it actually it looks a little bit more believable. Like, I don't know if it was just a step up in the CGI or they animated it differently or what, but it was a bit more believable from a sci-fi point of view, or a sci-fi fan's point of view. It was not an annoying thing, unlike how it was kind of annoying with the graphics, again, in the previous episode. And then it reaches a point where the Daleks are actually moving toward the satellite to invade the Earth, and the satellite. And there was a part where the Doctor is working on something. Essentially, it's, I think they called it a delta wave, something that would take out all the Daleks, but also it would take out all the humans within range. And the Doctor, I guess, sees a point where it's not going to charge up in time, and he's very worried for Rose's well-being. He doesn't want Rose to die. He made a promise to Jackie, Rose's mom, that he would not let her die, that he would keep her safe. And so there's this, at first it was a very strange scene, because he goes from like incredibly depressed to all of a sudden he's bright and shiny again, and he's saying that, Rose had a wonderful idea, and he tells her they're going to go back in the past, and he leaves her in the TARDIS, and he uses a sonic screwdriver to send her back to her original time. And it was at that point that any preconceived ideas I had of how the episode was going to go were pretty much lost. Like, I was expecting there to be some more tactical maneuvers. Rose was going to play a big part in that battle, but no, not at all. She literally gets sent back to her time, and she can't cope with that. She can't cope with the idea that the TARDIS isn't going to listen to her, that she can't get it to go back to that time, and she does everything in her power to try and get back there. And she gets both Mickey and her mom involved. And Mickey, again, I like Mickey. I like the way he's developing. I really like the fact that he's not just the silly, goofy guy as he was in the first episode. He's a strong character, and I really like him. I don't know what kind of relationship he's going to have with Rose going forward, if any, but I really hope he sticks around with the show for a while, because I really like him. But long story short, the big battle comes. The Daleks invade the Earth and the satellite, slaughtering everyone that gets in their path, unfortunately including Captain Jack. And they even start attacking the Earth itself. And we see this sort of little digital map. And while it's not hugely effective, as if we actually got to see what was happening on the Earth, essentially every time a section would turn red, the landmass would literally alter. And I guess if you let your imagination play with that enough, like mine tends to do, it's like you imagine what all is happening when that's occurring. And it's crazy to think that literally the Earth's landmass is just being altered by these bombings from the Daleks, just showing how immensely powerful and destructive they are. And then we get the big reveal of, maybe not basically it's the reveal of what the Bad Wolf is. Rose is the Bad Wolf, but only when she is, she sort of absorbs the time vortex. And again, this is where it gets really weird and kind of hard for me to explain, but when all that happens, she becomes the Bad Wolf. And for me, that was both a very interesting and awesome idea, because she essentially becomes a god. Like, she disintegrates all the Daleks that have surrounded the Doctor, disintegrates the ship that was it the Master Dalek or the Supreme Dalek? I can't remember, but it's like he's claiming that he is a god, and he has created all of these Daleks from humans. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. Yeah, all the Daleks were created from the humans that were transported. And just like this pure ultimate power, but it's so powerful she can't hold it. Like, it's hurting her and killing her. And that was a very, I don't know, if not for the fact that I knew that she's in further episodes, I would have assumed maybe she's going to die here. But no, the Doctor kisses Rose and absorbs the time vortex, which was strange. I don't know why he needed to kiss her exactly, but I'm sure there were so many fans of the show, so many people that enjoyed it, that really wanted the Doctor and Rose to finally get together and have that kiss, that it was sort of a fan service slash continuing the story, which I can appreciate that. I like it. I really like the Ninth Doctor, which unfortunately brings me to the, maybe not this, it's not the saddest part of this season or series, but it's one of the saddest moments for me, that the Ninth Doctor had to go away. Now, I know all kinds of people are saying the 10th Doctor is the best, and the 11th Doctor is great too. But you know what? This is the first Doctor for me, and I'm sure I'll grow to love the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, who plays him, and Matt Smith, who plays the 11th Doctor, but I really, really liked this guy. I liked his quirkiness. I just enjoyed the character so much that to see him go out, which is in a much better way than I had imagined. I thought that he was going to get killed by a Dalek and then regenerate, which would have been really depressing. But no, the way it happens within the show was really nice, and I really like that. And he was able to get his final words in to Rose before he changed to the new version of the Doctor. And I'm really going to miss Christopher Eccleston. No, and I'm going to get his name right. I saw it earlier. Christopher Eccleston. I think that's right. Christopher Eccleston. Christopher Eccleston. Yes! Christopher Eccleston. I think I got the name right that time. I'm really going to miss him in this role. But thankfully, I can go back and watch these episodes anytime. And in fact, one thing I will say, my wife, like me, didn't like the first few episodes. And she hasn't watched any of these episodes with me until these last 3. And I asked her what she thought, and she said she actually really likes these episodes. So I think that over my little Christmas break, we may watch some of these and see what she thinks. And at some point, she may start following along with me on the continuing seasons of the show. So that's one thing I like. I don't know if she'll become a Whovian, because I don't know. I don't know how much of sci-fi is her thing exactly, but hopefully she might follow along with me on some of these, and maybe at some point we can get some thoughts from her as well. I wouldn't bet on it, but you never know what might happen. But everyone, I'm going to leave it at that. This season, this first season of the new Doctor Who has really left an impression on me, because I enjoyed seeing its transition from, just a brand new reboot, we don't entirely know what we're doing, or it didn't seem that way at the time, to a strong, sophisticated way to end the season, a nice way to take the 9th Doctor out, bring in the 10th. I really grew to appreciate this season, and I really liked it. And I don't know, maybe I'm not at a point yet where some may call me a Whovian, but I honestly do believe that I'm on the road to becoming one, if nothing else, because I really like the show, and I'm very much looking forward to the continuing seasons. Now, that being said, on the next episode, I'm going to do a recap of my favorite episodes from this season, some of my favorite moments, and just overall talk in general about some of the things, or some of the experiences that I had with the show so far. And if anyone wants to comment, tell me some of the things that they enjoyed about the first season. I'll probably go back to some of the comments in the previous episodes and read off of those as well, because I really want that to be just a final recap for the season leading into the next season, which will star David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Everyone, I hope you have enjoyed this first season adventure with me in discovering Doctor Who. And again, stay tuned for the 10th episode that should be coming out Monday the 23rd. That's the day before I actually go on my vacation, so hopefully everyone will enjoy that. And until next time, everyone, I'll see you later. I screwed up the outro again. Reverse. Until next time, everyone, I'm Papa Ken, and I'll see you on the next Discovering Doctor Who.